Solo always does shots first. Singing yup no.
Yup, yup.
You're singing yup no.
Chucha.
Yup no.
No.
At the Cantina Club. In this little mini, whatever we're going to call this segment, we're going to respond to our only viewer on our podcast.
Our one fan.
We posted favorite Star Wars moments part 1 the other day. I'm still working on getting the rest of the moments posted, but one of the things we talked about was the Darth Plagueis the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise scene from Revenge of the Sith. I think I put it at my number 10 moment or something. Anyway, someone watched the video, and their name is WestWorld on YouTube. WestWorld, like the show, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at their channel or anything. I don't even have an icon picture, so it may not be a real channel. I don't know. But I was just going to read their comment and see if we have any response to this or if it provokes any thoughts here, because it is kind of interesting. His comment is from WestWorld about Darth Plagueis. Page 42 of the book, Making of Revenge of the Sith, page 42 specifically, confirms George Lucas was showing in the prequels Palpatine knowingly created Anakin manipulating midichlorians. Snoke's theme music is based on the opera music in Revenge of the Sith, when Palpatine tells Anakin about the legend of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Episode 1, which I guess is Phantom Menace, and 7, which is which one is 7?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens have a powerful Dark Lord wanting to rule the galaxy and destroy the Jedi, and a mysterious slave on a desert planet extremely strong with the Force and believed to be the Chosen One. Palpatine knowingly created Anakin. Snoke unknowingly created Rey. The canon from Revenge of the Sith is the most important of all. Obi-Wan and Palpatine both believed Darth Vader killed Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, but they were wrong. Darth Vader simply ignored his good side because he had no wife or no children to fight for. Anakin was the Chosen One as he killed his Dark Lord creator, not Darth Vader. Had Vader killed Palpatine, then Luke or Leia becomes the new Chosen One. Revenge of the Sith shows the Force uses common bloodline to bring balance between the light and dark side. The Chosen One will be the creation of or a descendant of a Dark Lord. The legend of Darth Plagueis the Wise in Revenge of the Sith is the most important and revealing Star Wars scene. And they put, "Sheesh, it was obvious Palpatine was hinting he created Anakin." Mm. So evidently he was wondering why we didn't mention that this was also a "I am your father" scene.
I agree.
Yeah, and he's tying.
I agree.
From what I get from it, he's tying together this idea that the Force, the will of the Force that is put forward in The Last Jedi. He doesn't mention The Last Jedi, that the light rises to meet the darkness. So they have a hand in creating each other. And anyway, it was a long comment, very complicated, and a lot to think about there. I'm not a person that goes around saying canon is this and canon is that, or I don't believe in that. It's not canon. I choose what I want to believe from moment to moment based on what I like and I think is cool and makes sense to me. So, it's an official book. Or, who knows what George Lucas was thinking, really, and he could change his mind. But anyway, to link all those elements together, that's still an opinion. I don't know that it makes it fact. It's just evidence for an opinion. So I think the idea is that Anakin was the Chosen One, and now Rey is the Chosen One. Anakin was created by Palpatine from stuff he learned from Plagueis. Rey was created because Snoke became so powerful on the dark side, and Snoke invested so much into Kylo Ren that the Force, influenced the midichlorians to bring about Rey as a champion for the good side or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think his conclusion was the Chosen One will be the creation of or descended from a Dark Lord.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, it's kind of balancing the Force concept. But I thank you, Westworld, for sharing that theory, because that's interesting, the way you worked it out in detail. And I always thought from the first time I saw that scene in Phantom Menace, I thought that was the "I am your father" moment for Anakin, and it seemed obvious to me that that's what Palpatine was implying, is that he learned a way to manipulate life. And whenever we got the background about Anakin, that he was born of a woman without without sexual intercourse, that there's. So it seemed obvious he was created in some way, and that moment seemed to be Palpatine explaining how he had done it. What I liked about it is that your father moment from The Empire Strikes Back. It was a kind of underhanded moment on Palpatine's part to manipulate Anakin further. So, but that seemed real clear to me the first time I saw it.
It also could be if one reason that Vader intervened to save the Emperor when Luke was going to kill him on Death Star 2 is if there's a connection there that over time Vader became even more of an acolyte of all the aspects of the Force and actually has a respect for the dark side and for its ability to create life or whatever, and feels some kind of kinship with the Emperor more than just being a slave. Like he's the reason all I have left I still owe to him, so I got to pay him back. Mm-hmm. And also Luke would in a way be killing his grandfather, which I don't think the dark side would have a problem with that, but it would add a little bit of a wrinkle to that one scene. But I think Palpatine was implying that. I think it was a smart move not to come out and say it because it's already been done, and it was much more effective as just something to think about and to provoke you with. But I also never really understood it. Sidious acted like Plagueis had a lot of abilities that he was never able to replicate. Mm-hmm. He said the secret to defeating death is just only one has learned or something like that. Mm-hmm. So he didn't really say it was Plagueis the only one able to create life as well, where all that top tier of abilities was that restricted to him, and Palpatine was trying to get to it the whole time, which would imply that Plagueis, if anybody, created Anakin.
Huh?
Yeah,
that's an interesting idea.
Maybe as a way to replace Palpatine, if Palpatine was his apprentice. You know how they tend to bring on another apprentice and replace them, or maybe Palpatine was a failed experiment of Plagueis or something, and Anakin was the next. But who knows?
I had the feeling, though, from that story, the way that Palpatine told it, it was a story sounded like betrayal. Mm-hmm. That didn't Plagueis have an apprentice who killed him? Isn't that right?
In his sleep, yeah. He taught him everything he knew, and he killed him in his sleep.
It sounded like that was Palpatine. Yeah. And it sounded like he stole the knowledge from Plagueis. He killed him, and now he's created Anakin to follow his own agenda.
Did either of you read the book Darth Plagueis?
That would enlighten us a lot, I'm sure. No.
Yeah, I read it a few years ago, and it does talk about that. Yeah, it actually was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and it does talk about that story, and it's kind of interesting in how it establishes that relationship between Palpatine and Plagueis, and it's really interesting. I enjoyed a lot of that. How enlightening it is, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't show a whole lot more than what we already are speculating about right now.
But it does confirm that he was Plagueis' apprentice.
Yes, yeah.
And he did kill him at the end of the book.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, no, it's a good book. So I know nobody has any time to read anymore, but if you ever do have time to read one of those, I would recommend that one. It's a good one.
Does it leave it open-ended enough for all these people who think Snoke was Plagueis? Could that still be possible after you read that book?
I would have to go back and reread it. It's probably been about 6 years since I read it. So and obviously it was before Snoke and all this kind of stuff. So I would have to read it again, knowing what I know now.
And I would also say that this is the problem with canon. Is that they tend to change it whenever they feel like it.
Yeah.
Well, something they published in 2016 may not be canon anymore in 2020.
Disney bought it over and said, okay, everything that was canon before is not canon.
It's now legend.
Yeah, now it's expanded universe is no longer canon. It's now legend.
I think they'll even rewrite what they release. I've always thought that people that put a whole lot of stock in the books should pay attention. That books are there to sell to people and to give them something of interest and to be close to the truth, but I don't know that Lucasfilm has ever fully respected another source other than what they end up putting on the screen. They're happy.
I agree.
They're not going to go to a story meeting and go, but wait, that would contradict what was said in the book.
Yeah, what was said in Darth Plagueis, the book. Yeah,
they're not going to.
They're only locked into what's on the film.
That's what I think too. So
yeah.
I think
I've
you're on
always felt
dangerous
that way.
ground when you start
Yeah.
justifying all this other media with what's on the screen and stuff. I don't know that they're even doing that at Lucasfilm. So
Yeah.
you're kind of on an island like Luke, doing that by yourself.
And I like the idea that Westworld mentioned about Anakin still being the chosen one, because it's Anakin who kills the Emperor,
Right, not
and
Darth Vader.
saves
Right.
Luke, and it's not Luke who does that. I kind of thought in Rebels, when they have Obi-Wan appear in the Rebels animated show, in the episode that reintroduced Obi-Wan and Maul. Obi-Wan was watching over Luke, and I believe at the end of that episode, they were on Tatooine. He was watching over Luke as a child, and I believe they debated about Luke being the chosen one, didn't they? Maul
Well,
and
Maul said you must be. He's provoking Obi-Wan. He says you must be here for a reason or for a person, and that's when Obi-Wan gets serious and is like, okay, you've gone too far, and they have their fight. And then Maul says, "Is he the chosen one?" So Maul knows there's a kid here, a male kid here, and Obi-Wan says yes, and he says he will avenge us.
Yeah.
Is what Maul says about Luke, and Obi-Wan confirms to Maul that he is the chosen one. But just because Obi-Wan believed it was true, Obi-Wan believed that Anakin was dead.
Yeah.
Anakin wasn't dead, so.
And Anakin and Luke are father and son. Why can't the two of them? They're the same genetic material. Luke, then, if Anakin was created by Palpatine, Luke is descended from that creation. So why can't the two of them together? It took both to destroy the Emperor.
Right.
Anakin was not going to be resurrected without his son Luke asking for his help. So both of them contributed to that.
And chosen one is just a title in a prophecy.
Yeah.
Chosen to do what? To bring balance to the Force. Well, Anakin was chosen to be the moment of bringing balance to the Force. Luke was the one chosen to carry forward the legacy of continued balance of the Force and the good side of the Force and everything. So, someone else could say you were the chosen one because you walked out of the Death Star, and you brought a new era or whatever. It was just a prophecy that's mentioned in passing. I mean, obviously important to the Jedi because they're all about balance of the Force, but it's just a title. I mean, it could mean it could mean so many things, and that's why I don't like these like hard and fast interpretations of this is canon, this is not canon. We still need to leave room to be creative and to have different points of view and all that stuff in there.
Absolutely. No, I think it's a compelling argument. The similarities are interesting. But, the cynical side of me says, it's lazy story writing, storytelling.
Yeah.
But that's I'm not saying that's what it is. I actually buy into that argument. I think it's good. But yeah, no, I appreciate the comment, Westworld. Thanks for chiming in.
I do want to say too, real quick, that this my understanding of the balance of the Force is that the Force it has nothing to do with the percentages of good and evil in the universe. It has to do with the evil throwing off the good,
right?
Because the good and neutral and just the natural state of things is not perverted and corrupted, and the balance of the Force is corrupted when evil takes the upper hand. So and it pollutes the Force isn't able to work its will anymore because evil is actively working against it. So I don't believe in this stuff from The Last Jedi where they said, the Force reacts with good and evil and it's in balance when you have a powerful good and a powerful evil. No, I think the Force is trying to put the evil down and restore its, get rid of the sickness and the corruption, the misuse of the Force, and go back to the way it's supposed to be. So I think there's conflicting visions of the Force here and what balance of the Force means in the sequels and in the originals. And I don't know what's correct anymore, but from the way I understand it, the Force is in balance when the Sith is gone. A lot of people believe that you have one good, one evil left. That means it's in balance. I don't think so. I think when the evil that is actively perverting and corrupting is gone, then the Force can achieve balance. Anyway, that's from what I've read. That's the opinion.
That further, I think, supports Westworld's theory about a Dark Lord giving birth to a chosen one that will overturn them. Because it seems evil always gives birth to its own destruction.
Right.
And maybe that is the.
Well, some people have said that Luke stayed on the island because if he trained another Jedi, it's like basically opening the door to the Sith. because this philosophy is if there's a Jedi, there's going to be a Sith. So Luke's like, the best thing I can do is stop being a Jedi and stop creating Jedi. The Sith will die out or whatever. And that, I'm tired of, I just don't see that. I don't see, why weren't there 100 Sith running around, when there were tons of Jedi? Why did the Sith limit themselves to 2? I mean, I know why they did it and everything, but I think it has more to do with, you got to look at the Force as being balanced with goodness and with neutrality and with naturalness. People using ambition and evil and destroying others and building machines to blow up entire ecosystems and planets and stuff, that's unnatural and corrupt. And I think that is when the balance of the Force gets thrown off, is when selfishness is introduced to it. When you take something that has a natural power created by life and you feed it death and you feed it selfishness, and you do it for your own power. So that's, from everything I've read, that I just think there's a whole lot of misinterpretation going on about that, but I could be wrong because I don't claim to know the canon. But thanks for the comment, and it was a fun discussion. It was fun to read.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still got to read it a couple more times and think about it and figure out. I'm going to go read that page 42 of that book as well to see what it's talking about. But it wouldn't surprise me. I have heard that Rick McCallum or some other producer talked George Lucas out of making it explicit in that movie. That Lucas wanted to make it explicit, like maybe when Samuel L. Jackson is about to kill him, and he says, "But Anakin, I created you. You need to help me." They would have a moment like that he was talked out of having, which thank goodness, because we didn't need it. It's great the way it is. Number 3 movie of all time.
That's right. Got that right.
In another week, Rogue One may surpass it, but Rogue One's climbing. All right. Anyway, we super appreciate the comment. Obviously, we made an episode about it, and anybody out there watching this stuff want to discuss with us, heck, we'll have you on the podcast. All you got to have is Skype, and leave us a comment.
We'd like to hear more from WestWorld. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, appreciate it. We'll catch you later.
Bye.
We all know around here, and Solo always does shots first. Singing Yup Nup. Yup Yup. You're singing Yup Nup. Cha-cha. Yup Nup. Yup.
I started
At the Cantina Club.
This YouTube channel long time have I watched. Never. Their minds on what they're discussing.